Hello, stamping friends. This is Jenny from Celebrate the Journey. It's Monday, time for a Facebook Live. I'm a few minutes late because my phone I had to disconnect it to the Wi-Fi again. I guess it had gone to sleep. A few minutes late. So now we're good to go. So let's see. You know, I'm on a mission to try to use up some DSP. And so we're going to make a card that uses up some of your paper. And I'm sure I've made this card before, but it never hurts to revisit something that you like. So I'm going to use simply Zinnia. This is actually not a retiring stamp set. It's an online exclusive. And it will continue to be an online exclusive until they sell out or whatever decision they make. I don't know how they decide that. We just go along for the ride, don't we? But this is what we're going to use because I kind of thought I needed some thinking of you kind of cards, and this would work for me. So this is a fun one, and we're going to make, rather than spend time coloring, we're just going to use blends to color our zinnias, and I think that'll look fine, so we'll try that. But let me show you the card first. I needed to get my measurements. You can cut 2 of these at one time if you want. You just would do all your scoring and then go ahead and cut. But this is 11 by 4 1/4, and it's scored at 2, 3 3/4, 7 1/4, and 9. So then you end up with, can't fold, can I? I don't know what an accordion kind of fold. And then we have a card base that's 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. And so we're going to mount that on there so that our card will stand up. Now let me give you a hint. If you have some 12 by 12 paper, you will be able to get 3 cards out of it if you're very careful. So this is 4 by 12, and if you just pay attention to what you're doing, you cut the first piece, and you cut 2 more. I'll tell you these measurements in a minute. Here, and then 2 there, and 2 there. And this is all that you will have that's left over. So you don't waste any paper. So here's the measurements for this. This is 3 1/4 by 4. This is 1 3/4 by 4. 1 1/2 by 4. And 1 by 4. And you end up with that tiny little sliver left. So you can get 4 out of 1 sheet of paper. On this one, we could have used either side. It would not matter. But I kind of like the flowers. If it has a direction to it, then of course you're going to want to pay attention to the direction of the flowers. I think I can kind of see which way the stems are. I don't know on that one. It's not such a big deal. So on our base that's 5 1/2 by 4 1/4, we're going to put these 2 1-inch pieces. Hope everybody had a good Easter. We had it was a beautiful sunny day and enjoyed time with family. So now we're going to put that on the 2 ends. let that sit for a minute. I'm going to go ahead and use my bone folder on these creases just to get them nice and crisp. Since this is a card that stands up, you want your creases strong. Now you can put this together in whichever direction makes you happy. Now I did use thick basic white for this. Since it's so many layers, you might be able to get by with the thinner, but I don't know. I like the feel of the thick basic white. Seems to give it a little more stability. So the great thing about this, once you've made your first one and then you know how to do it, you could go ahead and cut a bunch of DSP and get a bunch of cards done all at one time. Just change the stamp set and the DSP and you're good to go. Now here's our base. This honestly is the only hard part of this card, and it's not that hard. Hi Jamie, how are you today? And since this is going on the base, I'm using tear and tape to just make sure that it's nice and strong. Looks like I gotta trim a tiny little snip there. Now, like I said, this is really the only part that's a little bit hard. You just have to be able to center this and get it on the card base. And since I'm a standing stamper, I think it's easier to look down and see. If you tend to sit, you might want to stand up for this part. So now you're going to just try to get that on there as close as you can. I like that. Looks great. Now see how that will stand up? You know, I love a stand-up card. So now we'll do our flowers. So we're going to do some zinnias. We're going to stamp them with Memento Black. My ink pad has gold foil on it. I guess I need to figure out how to get that off. I am going to put a cushion under here. Even though these are not photopolymer, I think I'd like to have that extra give. I noticed that the center parts of these weren't as crisp as I like. Oh, hi Iris. Haven't seen you in a while. I'm glad to see you here. I can imagine you've used up all your Now, didn't that come out nice and crisp? Your DSP, Jamie. But it's so pretty and it's so springtimey. And we're going to need some leaves. So I need to find some scrap paper for that. Let's see, here's some pieces that should work. I'm not sure about that one. Oh, there's a leaf. Just grab them from my scrap bag. So here we go. Sometimes the basket gets so full I dump it out after a while. All those little 1/4-inch strips. I think we only need 3, but we'll do an extra one just in case. I love to color with blends, but we're not going to do that today. We're just going to still piece of scrap paper. We're just going to save a little time by using our blending brushes. And that way we can get a bunch of cards made all at one time. So we'll start with the green here. And I'm using Granny Apple Green. You could use just any of our greens that you like. And I don't want it to be perfect. I want it to look like leaves that are more natural. They're not all the same. That's what makes trees and shrubs and bushes so pretty, is the different shades of green and how the light hits them. Now we are going to use a little bit of blends on these to just give them a little more definition, but much quicker than coloring, isn't it? So I'm just going to take a Granny Apple Green Light and we'll just fill in a little bit on the leaf. See how much quicker this is than having to color the whole thing. I'll color our bonus one just in case, and otherwise I'll use it on my next card. So our new catalog is coming out soon. Demonstrators get to order from it starting tomorrow. Now, if you wanted to join, you could have your starter kit have new supplies in it. I think that'd be a super bonus. So for our flowers, we're going to use Melon Mambo. I think that's kind of matches that paper. But otherwise, you'll just have to wait until May to shop from it. And it has some really pretty things. It's got lots of ideas in it this time. Some instruction kinds of things in the catalog. I think that's interesting. We're going to start over here. We're just going to do our 2 flowers. 2 of each color. Now I want to do the center darker. You see, this is kind of the easy button for these flowers. You're not having to spend all your time coloring. Some of us like the easy button. And then our next flower is going to be Daffodil Delight. And do it the same way. Okay, now we'll use our blends to get a little definition in the center part of our flower. Let's see, I actually pulled wild wheat and pumpkin pie, so we're going to try those. We'll just darken this little center part, and these little things that look like stars. I know we've seen those on zinnias. We'll pop those up. This one, since it's so dark, the pink is a darker color. That's why I thought the wild wheat might show a little better. We'll see. It's not a color I think about, but when I was looking for my, did I want pumpkin pie or Daffodil Delight, I thought, well, this one will work. And it does. It makes those little stars look good. All right, now we'll have to cut these out. I wish they gave us 2 of this die, but they didn't, so we'll have to cut them out individually. Well, that one seems to be stuck together, so we'll leave it there, won't we? It would be great if you could layer these and do 2 at a time, but that's not going to happen. Here's one. Pretty little zinnia. These would also make marigolds. I think you could pretend that they're a little large, but if you wanted to pretend they were marigolds, it'd be okay. Let's see. Seems like there's the trick. Yeah, there's this little part of the die, it's got a, kind of a straight line there, and you know that that's what fits right in that section of the zinnia. You know, if you didn't get it lined up perfect because you used the blending brushes, it doesn't show as bad. Okay, long die, there we go. Actually makes them look more 3D looking, I think. It also helps if you, when you're stamping in a row, don't move your stamp. Keep it going the same direction. It'll be easier to line up that die. I think that's gonna do it there. Okay, now I actually have a few leaves from another card, I believe. Let's see if I can find them. Yeah, so we'll use those so we don't have to do any more die cutting. I was working on a bunch of cards this morning. Now I went ahead and die cut a rectangle from the detailed Everyday Details and a circle from Everyday Details. But then you'll notice this stamp's too long, so we're going to put it on a little banner and put it on our circle. I think that'll work. We'll get another piece of scrap from the scrap box. See. We'll make sure that in case we make mistakes, we've got a backup. Something this narrow, it's so easy to stamp crooked. This says, sending flowers and thinking of you. That's a great message. That looks pretty good. Can't complain. And we're just going to give this a little snip. And we could use the tag punch, but we'll just give it an angled snip. I think that works pretty good. Oh my gosh, Sheila, how'd you sneak in here? That's amazing. It's good to see you. Oh, I knew I had some piece of this foam. We'll just cut a little strip of that to hold our banner. And we'll do the best we can of getting it in the middle. I think that'll be okay. And now we're going to put it right here, but we don't want to glue down this side. We only want this side. So we're going to put some dimensionals. Actually, we're just going to glue that down. So I'm going to flip it over. We'll only put some Tombow right there. Just in that, not quite half of the circle. I can see already I'm going to have to, I'll do that right now so we'll get it over with. Push this little piece of, cut that little piece of strip off because we don't want it peeking out and sticking to the other side of the card. Now we can stick this back on here. There we go. Now when it opens, we'll have that. Now we're ready to put some flowers on here. And I think we'll just put them on with Tombow also. You want to make sure if it's going over the edge to don't have adhesive or it will cause issues. I think we'll need some bling on this card. I don't know what, though. We'll have to go through the bling box. Oh. Now we'll put one down here on this side. Now we've got our leaves. We can put that there. Only put it on this side so it won't glue the card together. I'll glue the card shut. I have been known to do goofy stuff like that. I think we'll definitely put this one. I don't know, I don't want it the same, so we better put it that way. And I don't know about the one at the top. I might cut a leaf in half. What do you think? Where could we? Well, no, we could have it coming as long as it doesn't go past there. I think that'll be fine. That'll look cute. It'll still go in the envelope. There we go. Isn't that just the cutest little card? Now you have this in the inside for just to write a message, because this is a thinking of you card. We've got an extra zinnia. If we decide to put it in there, we'll wait and see. I think that might look cute. But we definitely need some bling, so let's see what we can find. In all my cleaning up, I've rearranged my bling because I had too much. So, got it in a bigger size box. Oh, I think I have it turned backwards. Yeah. So let's see what will... those actually. I don't know that they're Melon Mambo, but they look pretty. I believe these are the ones that came with that sweet. So that's what we'll use. The sequins. So I definitely need one here. One or two. Oh, I don't know. Maybe we need a color. That doesn't show. Let's try the green. That looks prettier. The pink is pretty, but it doesn't pop. So we'll be using the green. Put some over here. This is going to have a lot of bling on it. I think we'll put another one over this way. Got to have an odd number, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think that'll work. Now think about this. I was thinking you could do the same thing with this design, but use the bumblebee paper and then put the bumblebees up there, those honeybees. Use this paper and put some of the Zany Zoo characters on the circle. And then this morning I made this one. And I used the bright, I think this is the balloon paper. And it says you're on my mind and in my heart. And then I'm going to put some bling on here. I just haven't done that. I loved this one. This came out. This is the blueberry bushel. Blueberry wishes. And that come out pretty. And this paper is from the outer space. These are outer space things, but I thought the green was perfect. So there's, see how they stand up? And you've got some cards to send quick and easy to your friends. You can use a circle. That's the smaller circle. This is the larger. You could use the square. You could use ovals. Just needs to be a large enough image there in the front, I think, for it to not look tiny, dinky. You don't want it too dinky. These flowers are big enough to hold the weight of the card. So I'd love for you to give it a try. And it's so, you're right, Jamie, coloring these zinnias was so easy. And I love coloring with blends, so sometimes I just want quick and easy, and this was definitely quick and easy. Yet it still looks pretty, so can't complain. Thanks for joining me today. I will see you next week. Bye.